My friends, how are you? It's fantastic to see you for yet another video, and today we get to talk a little bit more about the farmers. It's been a while since we've had to have a discussion about what's going on with the farmers in America, but we've got some new news on what's going on with them and Donald Trump's trade war. So I guess a little bit of a history lesson on what's been going on with the farmers in America. Do you remember the time that Donald Trump bankrupted the farmers through trade wars and ended up having to bail out the farmers because they went broke in America? That was in his first term. And then shockingly, 3 times in a row, the farmers, for the most part, came out in huge numbers to vote for Donald Trump, yet again, even knowing that he was going to be destructive to not only their business, but the farm that's been in their family for generations. And maybe I'm being a little bit harsh, my friends, but I've said before that the only thing I can come up with when it comes to that is the farmers must just want bailouts if that's what they're signing up for. And maybe that is a dick thing to say, but if you know full well that he's going to destroy your business and you line up to vote for him, I can only assume that that's what you want. And look, I'm living proof of what I just said, because also last time Donald Trump was in office, he destroyed the trucking industry, my friends. And I gotta tell you, I was not a huge fan of watching my bank account drain more and more every day as fuel prices were through the roof due to his post-COVID crash. The supply chain was so damaged you couldn't get a part for your truck for 3 weeks if you were lucky, and by the time you got that part you were paying 3, 4, 5, 6 times the cost for the damn thing. And I especially didn't like the day where my truck broke down and I had to take it to a dealership and sell it because there just was not any money left whatsoever to keep repairing the damn truck. And that all happened post-COVID freight crash brought on by Donald Trump's mismanagement of COVID. You would not catch my ass lining up to vote for Donald Trump again after watching him destroy the industry that I use to support myself and my family. And that is absolutely insane. And that is one of many reasons why I would never vote for Donald Trump. But we are in this situation where the farmers, not all the farmers, okay, but farmers for the most part went out to vote for Donald Trump, knowing full well how destructive he was going to be. And then Donald Trump comes into office again this time, basically running his campaign on tariffs. And you would think the farmers would have known what a tariff was, but I don't really know, because you guys remember the day after the election, the most searched term on Google was, "What is a tariff?" So we had a bunch of dumb sons of bitches in this country cheering on tariffs, saying, hell yeah, I'm gonna we're gonna tariff the shit out of China. We're gonna tariff the shit out of Canada. We're gonna tariff the shit out of Mexico. And they vote for Donald Trump and they go, okay, I better figure out what a tariff is now, because that sounds like important information. But it was even more important information before the election. But Donald Trump comes in, starts this huge fucking trade war. Everybody tried to warn everybody else about how this was going to be destructive to America, and the MAGA side of the argument lied their asses off to us and said that it's going to bring manufacturing back to America. Excuse me, because that's what America is really missing, right? The low-paying, long-hour manufacturing jobs that China has taken from us. That's really what's missing in this fucking country, right? And then we go through, the tariffs are happening, the stock market's crashing, people are losing their jobs, small businesses are closing, and then we find out that manufacturing is continuing to lose jobs on a month-to-month basis in this fucking country. It has done fuck all to bring manufacturing back to America, and all it has done is increase the price dramatically on the American people who pay the tariffs. But on top of that, it has severely damaged the supply chain in America, but also when we're trying to export to other countries. And that is where the farmers come in to this entire equation, my friends, because they have lost their asses on Donald Trump, the retaliatory tariffs coming from other countries, and mainly China just saying, okay, we're not going to buy your fucking soybean then. That's what we're going to do. And I used to laugh about this. You guys remember when I used to tell you that this doesn't make any fucking sense? Can you believe that you would start a trade war with a plant that grows out of the fucking ground, apparently without the realization that other countries have ground also, and they can grow the same fucking plant, making them competitive while you're trying to hold the world hostage with your plant. Other countries can just go, well, I could grow a plant too, fuck you, I'll sell my plant to China. But I thought more about that, and I realized something that's going on with this. Donald Trump doesn't actually have any skin in the game in this. The trade war that Donald Trump is so valiantly fighting is with someone else's fucking plant. It's not even his. He is holding the farmers hostage with their plants, their blood, sweat, and tears, the work that they put into it to make, well, I don't know what point, unless you bring in the equation of J.D. Vance. In comes J.D. Vance, who is involved with the app Acre Trader, where billionaires want to buy up the farmland in America for pennies on the dollar as an investment for them so that the billionaires can make more and more money. Well, when you put all that into place, then you start to realize there may be a reason that Donald Trump is intentionally bankrupting the farmers in America through trade wars, and that is because J.D. Vance owes Peter Thiel money or something like that, something to that effect. The billionaires want what's yours is the fucking point in this entire scenario, right? So we've got bankrupt farmers all over the country because they wanted Donald Trump to come in and do what exactly? I don't really fucking know. But don't fear, my friends. Don't fear, my friends. Donald Trump has come up with a plan to save the American farmer, and he is so damn proud of himself because Donald Trump has showed up to save the day, my friends. Never mind that Donald Trump is the fucking arsonist that started the fire in the first place. He wants full credit for all the work that he's doing. As a matter of fact, he is doing everything in his power to make sure that the American people do not know that Donald Trump is to blame for Donald Trump's poor economic policies. Do you know what Donald Trump is blaming for the farmer bankruptcies in America? Or, yes, the rising bankruptcies. Last I heard, bankruptcies were up like 60% over the last month. I believe that it was 60% for sure. But I don't remember the exact timeline. And it's all due to Donald Trump's trade wars. So I'm going to tell you who he blamed, or what he blamed rather, on this entire thing. And I want you to hold on to your fucking hats, because this is going to blow your minds, my friends. He blamed Joe Biden. Yeah, Donald Trump once again blamed Joe Biden for his poor economic policy. Instead of Donald Trump acknowledging that it is his trade wars that caused this, because it 100% is. That's the craziest thing about this. There are times where, like, you could maybe make an argument, even if he is to blame, and say there were economic factors going on for the last 40 years that led to this point, or something like that. I don't necessarily think those are brilliant arguments when they do come up, but in this very particular scenario, Donald Trump decided to put tariffs on Chinese products coming into America, at times up to 145%, which is essentially a trade embargo. China responded by retaliatory tariffs on American products and straight up refusing to buy soybeans from the American farmer, which makes this 100% Donald Trump's fault that this is fucking happening. And so Donald Trump goes on and on about we inherited the worst economy, which is not true. Inflation was at an all-time high when we inherited this economy, which is not true. Donald Trump sits there and lies his fucking ass off about the entire thing and blames Joe Biden and takes no responsibility whatsoever for this entire situation. And is anybody else getting fucking sick to death of this shit? A president of the United States excuse me, who takes absolutely zero accountability for his actions. And unfortunately, my friends, that is the entire fucking MAGA movement, and it is one of the things I am getting so goddamn sick of. I hear about it every day. You know, I'm talking about the collapse that's going on with the trucking industry right now, right before or right during the holiday shopping season in America, which should be our most profitable time of the year, and trucking companies should not be closing their doors unless the economy is complete shit. And people go, well, why aren't you blaming Joe Biden for this? I don't know. Why am I not blaming George Washington for this? Why am I not blaming Bill Clinton for this? The reason I'm not blaming Joe Biden for this is because it is 100% Donald Trump's failed economic policy that is causing it. It's his trade wars that have weakened the supply chain in America. And God damn it, if you don't know that a truck driver is part of the supply chain in America, start there before asking me about fucking Joe Biden, all right? Holy shit. So anyways, Donald Trump comes in with his grand plan, and he wants everyone to sing his praises and talk about how great he is, because Donald Trump had announced last night that he plans to bail out the farmers yet again. I want to warn the farmers, don't count your money till it hits your fucking bank account, because if I remember correctly, it was just a couple months ago, maybe a month ago, Donald Trump talked about we will need to bail out the farmers, and nothing fucking happened. Now he's saying that we will bail out the farmers and they're not going to see their money till next year, which I understand is only a month away, but he knows that the farmers need that relief right fucking now, and he's like, oh, we're gonna do it next year. And the amount that Donald Trump is sending to the farmers, or claiming to send to the farmers, like I said, don't count that money until you fucking see it. He's a liar, he's a con artist, and he's the master, the absolute master of the carrot and the stick, if you're fucking dumb in this country. And he's still got people waiting for Doge checks, my friends. Are you fucking shitting me? Remember we were all gonna get a tariff rebate a few months ago, and I had the goofball Trump supporter that insisted that Donald Trump has created the best economy ever known to man, but then he asked me if he could have my $2,000 what is it, tariff refund check. Motherfucker, if you are convinced that Donald Trump created the best economy, what are you asking me for money for? What are you talking about? You're rich, you're fucking just rolling in wealth from Donald Trump, and you're asking me if you can have my $2,000. I told him he could have it though, because I'm never gonna have to give him that money, because it's never fucking showing up. I told him he could also have my Doge check. I told him he could also have my steelworker bonus. I'm not a steelworker, but I have as much of a likelihood of getting the $5,000 steelworker bonus as I do of getting the Doge check, and as I do of getting the fucking tariff refund check. But let me try to get back to the fucking point here. The amount is $12 billion that is going to the farmers in America as a bailout because of Donald Trump's failed economic policies. So I spent the morning excuse me, listening to farmers and experts on the farming industry talk about this $12 billion, and they said that's not near enough. They said that is not near enough money to make up for the losses that farmers endured during this harvest season due to Donald Trump's failed economic policies. It is still going to lead to the farmers going under, and my God, if it helps you, if it gets you through this, I don't even know what the right answer is for farmers. The reason I say that is because even if it is enough to pull you through this year with the bailout, our only choice in America right now is to continue to bail out the farmers every year from here on out, because those markets are gone now. Can you believe the United States of America just robbed the farmers of their markets? And now they're bailing them out. And this to me is such a baffling thing, because as a redneck raised in the fucking country, all I ever heard about was how Washington was trying to steal our money, and then they line up to vote for a fucking con man that is trying to steal their money. I'm at a loss, my friends. I'm at a loss. But I guess, I don't know if this holds you through for now. I don't know the right advice. I'm not a farmer, but does it sound like it's time to sell the farm if you can before it's worth absolutely nothing? Because next year, when the same situation comes around and you go and plant your soybeans and your corn and all these different crops, your sorghum, somebody please think of the fucking sorghum. Don't ever forget that. What are you going to do when it becomes harvest season and China, countries like China, are still buying from Brazil and Argentina? They've already established those markets. And remember, we, the American people, just bailed out Argentina to the tune of $40 billion. While we can't afford health care for our own citizens, we can afford Argentina to get $40 billion. And as soon as Argentina secured that $40 billion from the United States, then they opened up their trade market to China on the soybeans. And the fact of the matter is, most likely China's not coming back. Your market has been taken from you by Donald Trump. You're done. It's fucking over. And I don't know how to explain that to anyone else. We are watching this on a large scale all over America. we are watching as Donald Trump destroys the small businesses out there so that the billionaires in our country can come in and buy up all the bullshit. It's only a matter of time before trucking, the whole industry, is owned by the few billionaires with the huge corporations out there. And the independent owner operator, or what the truckers call the small mom and pop shop with the 2 or 3 trucks, are fucking done in this country. And it is the American people that voted for Donald Trump that lined up to give away their own fucking livelihoods in the interest of the billionaires in this country, and that is never ever going to make sense to me. Back to the point though about what was it, 12 billion or 16 billion? Now I don't remember the exact dollar amount. I know I said it a few minutes ago. I think it's $12 billion that they said they are going to use to bail out the farmers in America. Like I said, I'll say it for a third time, don't count that fucking money until it hits your bank account. Donald Trump went on to brag about the trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars this country has brought in due to tariffs. And of course we all know that if that was even true, that would be trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars from the American working class that paid that extra money through higher rates having to do with the tariffs. But the fact of the matter is, every time Donald Trump opens his mouth about the trillions of dollars that America has made, nobody knows what the fuck he's talking about. There is no accounting on this money. Nobody knows where it is. Nobody knows how much it is. That's why he just says trillions and trillions. And he does every once in a while say it's 17 trillion, and then every once in a while it's a completely different trillion. But literally no one knows where this money is. But if you're saying on the backs of the American people, you made the United States made trillions of dollars, and you turn around and you slap these farmers in the face with $12 billion in bailouts that isn't even enough to make up for their losses. That doesn't even cover like feeding themselves or putting clothes on themselves or anything like that. That doesn't even cover the fucking losses. I have to wonder why aren't there many more people in this country saying, fuck you, Donald Trump, you just robbed us blind and you took all our damn money. And that goes back to the shit I was saying earlier about the rednecks that I grew up around that were always so pissed off and saying that the government is just there to steal your money. Donald Trump told you he was going to steal your money. He said, we're going to charge tariffs on the American people, and we're going to create all this money. And they took the money from the American people, the amount we don't fucking know, trillions and trillions, allegedly, according to Donald Trump. And then I have people come here to my comment section, excuse me, every day, and they go, you need to start thinking about how much fucking money the government's making off of all of this. These are not the hillbillies that I grew up with, my friends. There was nobody in their right fucking mind when I was a kid that would have said, well, we got to think of how well the government's doing. What are you fucking talking about? And it's the same people. It's the same group of people. It's the same people from rural America that are now sitting back and cheering on the government profiting handsomely off of their fucking work. And then when he sees you go under in farming specifically, he offers you pennies on the dollar of what you should have fucking made. And he's only going to do that with so many industries in this country. Farming, I think he has to. He has to do the bailout for the farming industry. For the trucking industry, we're fucked. We're gonna watch so many businesses go under, and he's not going to do a goddamn thing about it. But the most important point with all of that is there's nothing he can do about it. This is all the supply chain. This is all tariffs and retaliatory tariffs. And most importantly, this is relationships ruined with other countries that do not view us as a reliable trade partner now and have moved on to what they hope to be greener pastures with countries that stand to make a lot of fucking money off Donald Trump's complete fucking ignorance about how a global economy works. And this whole thing is a complete shit show, my friends. So with that said, I better get back to work. Love you guys. Bye now.